Giants rookie minicamp is the focus. The watch points are new faces, roster moves, and early clues. The minicamp can offer hints about the depth chart. The video should center on the Giants rookie minicamp tracker. Focus areas are who is on the field, roster movement, and early clues. Those clues relate to the team's depth chart, position battles, and developmental priorities. Rookie minicamp is not about declaring stars in May. It is about identifying which young players and tryout names can start building momentum toward training camp. Supporting stories should reinforce that idea with live practice observations and minicamp context. Giants rookie minicamp is underway. Nobody is winning a roster spot in one weekend. This is where the first clues start showing up. New draft picks, undrafted free agents, tryout players, and roster moves are part of the same question. The main question is who is beginning to separate. That separation can reveal the Giants' plans before training camp. Breaking news from the facility. Rookie minicamp is underway. First, the new faces. Then, the roster movement. And then, the one that changes everything. The first real depth chart clues before training camp. By the end of this video, you'll know what this minicamp is actually telling us about Big Blue. Lock in. And let's be real for a second. Eagles fans love acting like they own this division, and their channels love talking like the Giants are background noise. Not here. If you want a channel built by Big Blue, for Big Blue, hit subscribe right now. Every single sub is a flag in the ground against Eagles noise. Comment, "Let's go Giants," and let them see it. Now let's get into story one. The first thing that matters here is simple. This weekend is not about crowning anybody. It is about clues. It is about who the Giants are putting on the field, what names are entering the building, and what that says about jobs that are actually open. So let's start there. Rookie minicamp is underway, and that alone matters because this is the first clean look at how the Giants want to sort their young talent. Not the final answers, the first clues. That distinction matters. Too many people treat one practice look like a final depth chart. It is not, but it does tell you where the organization's eyes are. The tracker angle here is important. We are watching 3 buckets at once: draft picks, undrafted free agents, and tryout players. Add roster movement to that, and you get the first map of what the front office still thinks is unsettled. If a position gets extra bodies, that is a message. If one room gets more attention than another, that is a message too. Now, here's the truth nobody's telling you. Rookie minicamp is not really about the top headline names. The real value is in the margins. The Giants already know the spotlight will follow their drafted rookies. What this setting reveals is where the staff still sees vulnerability, where developmental reps are being emphasized, and which fringe names are getting the chance to force a harder conversation before training camp. That matters for the depth chart because an open competition does not always begin with a public announcement. Sometimes it begins with bodies, with invitations, with a look at who got called in and who the staff wants to see up close before the veterans join the full picture. Personal opinion here. I think this is where smart teams quietly win roster spots. Not with hype, with sorting. If the Giants are using rookie minicamp to stack evaluations on the bottom half of the roster, I'm all for it, because that is how you stop carrying dead weight into a real competition. That's my read. If you see it differently, comment and tell me I'm wrong. And keep that thought, because story 2 is bigger. The minicamp itself is one thing. What it tells us about actual job battles is where this gets interesting. Now, what most channels miss is the difference between attendance and intention. Being on the field matters, yes. But why the Giants are structuring this rookie minicamp tracker the way they are, that is the second story. Because the brief makes it crystal clear. This is about depth chart clues, position battles, and developmental priorities. That means we should stop asking, who is a star already? Wrong question. The right question is, which positions are unstable enough that one strong start changes the pecking order? That is where this rookie minicamp has teeth. The Giants are looking at who is on the field, what roster movement is happening, and what that says before training camp. Read that carefully. That is not random language. That is the organization telling you the evaluation is layered. On-field work is one layer. Movement around the roster is another. Together, they point to battles that are not settled, no matter what the fan base assumed a month ago. And there's a second layer here, developmental priorities. That phrase matters. Developmental priorities tell you where the coaching staff thinks it needs time, reps, and patience. So if a young player starts getting real attention in this environment, that is not fluff. That is the team saying, we need to know if this guy can help us sooner than expected. For Big Blue, that should immediately make you think about the back end of the roster and the lower half of every position room. Those are the spots where one minicamp can create a runway. Not a guarantee, a runway. That's how an undrafted free agent goes from camp body to real preseason watch. That's how a tryout player turns one invitation into a harder decision for the front office. And that's how a drafted rookie starts pushing for a bigger developmental plan than people expected. I'll say it. In my opinion, this is the most revealing part of off-season football. Not the splashy press conferences. Not the recycled talking head debates. This phase. Because here, the organization shows what it actually worries about. If rookie minicamp is being framed around depth chart clues and roster movement, then the Giants are telling us there are real jobs on the line at the edges of this roster. Half of you are nodding. Half want to fight me. Comment which half you're in. Now I want your take. Comment real if you think rookie minicamp gives true depth chart clues. Comment noise if you think all of this is being overread. No middle ground. Make me defend my position. Quick reminder, if you made it this far, you are Big Blue. Hit subscribe, because story 3 is the one. Because what comes next, that is the big one. Not just that rookie minicamp is underway. Not just that the Giants are tracking who is on the field. The bomb is what question ties all of it together. Now here it is. The story you've been waiting for. The one I told you matters most. The Giants rookie minicamp is underway, and nobody is winning a roster spot in one weekend. But this is where the first clues start showing up. That line is everything. Why? Because it kills the lazy extremes. It kills fake overreaction, and it kills fake dismissal. If nobody is winning a roster spot in one weekend, then no, we should not act like the depth chart is finalized from a handful of reps. But if this is where the first clues start showing up, then no, we also cannot shrug this off like it means nothing. That is the sweet spot, and that is where smart analysis lives. The brief lays out the full puzzle: new draft picks, undrafted free agents, tryout players, and roster moves are all part of the same question. Who is beginning to separate, and what does it tell us about the Giants' plans before training camp? That is the bomb. Because separation is not just about who looks best in shorts. Separation is about which names force the coaches to keep looking. Which players earn more evaluation. Which rooms get more traffic. Which roster decisions start feeling less theoretical and more urgent. The first clue is attention. The second clue is opportunity. The third clue is movement. Now connect that to story 1 and story 2. Story 1 told us the value is in the margins. Story 2 told us the real signal is in position battles and developmental priorities. Story 3 combines both and gives us the front office lens. Who is separating, and what are the Giants planning before training camp? That means every rookie rep, every undrafted free agent look, every tryout invitation, and every small roster move belongs in one bigger conversation. This team is building a board, not just of who can play, but of who deserves to stay in the conversation when the roster gets tighter. That is how teams uncover contributors. Not with one viral clip, with stacked evidence. And I think that matters even more for a Giants team trying to sharpen the bottom of the roster around its current core. Jaxson Dart is the starting quarterback. The spotlight will naturally go there across the offseason. But rookie minicamp tells you something different. It tells you which young pieces around the roster are being treated like developmental bets worth investing reps in. That is where hidden value shows up. Going on record right now, in my opinion, the fans who dismiss rookie minicamp as meaningless are flat out wrong. Not a little wrong. Completely wrong. I am not saying this weekend hands out final jobs. I am saying this weekend identifies who gets the next chance to win one. And that is a huge difference. For a roster fighting to get deeper, cleaner, and tougher, those first clues matter a lot. Tell me I'm wrong. I'll defend that all week. And now you have your answer to the question I asked earlier. Comment real or noise below. I want to see where Big Blue Nation stands on this. If this analysis hit for you, like the video. That's how we keep this kind of Giants breakdown moving through the algorithm. 3 stories. 1 picture. Here's what it all means together. The Giants are using rookie minicamp as an information gathering stage, not a trophy ceremony. New faces matter. Roster movement matters. Separation matters. And the biggest takeaway is not who won a weekend. It is which players and position rooms are quietly telling the team, keep watching us. That is how depth charts actually start moving. Not with one headline, but with repeated signals. First the minicamp invite, then the practice look, then the next chance. The Giants are building toward training camp with clues, and if you know how to read them, you can see where the pressure points are forming before the public catches up. Listen, next video I'm dropping the full Giants depth chart watch list based on these minicamp clues. And I'm going position by position on where a rookie, an undrafted free agent, or a tryout name can actually steal attention. If you're Big Blue for real, subscribe right now so YouTube puts that on your feed. Hit the bell, because that next breakdown is where we turn clues into actual roster projections. And drop your final answer below, real or noise. But listen closely, one decision is still hanging over all of this. Which young players actually turn a minicamp look into real momentum before training camp? That answer is not final yet. The first clues are here. The sorting is just beginning. And around the division, everybody watches everybody. The Eagles, the Cowboys, the Commanders, they all want to know which teams are building real depth and which teams are just talking about it. The Giants have a chance to make this rookie class, and this developmental phase means something. That is the next domino. Big Blue, the battle is here. Stay locked, stay loud, and let's go Giants.